Hello everybody and welcome to the Week in Technology. My name is Karamjit and with me is my host also Aisha Mustafa. Aisha, how's it going?
Good, okay.
Looking forward to going home for Raya?
Yes, for 1 week off, yes.
Kelantan, right?
No, actually this year I'm staying in Subang because some personal reasons.
Oh, okay. So you're going to miss grandma's cooking.
Oh, we're going back after Raya.
After Raya?
Take some time off, yeah.
Okay, sounds good, man. So don't have to worry about the traffic and all the dangers.
I don't have to worry about Week in Tech next week.
No. We'll have you on the show somehow. Okay, great. We're going to start with our cover story for the week as usual, but Aisha wrote it, and so I will let Aisha, carry the floor. And also then we're going to talk about Apicta. We're running a series of articles on previous Malaysian, MSc Malaysia Apicta winners. So we've featured 3 of them already, and I think we'll try to feature at least 2 more next week, because I think the Malaysian Apicta Award winners will be announced 3 weeks from now. So, and then we may talk a little bit about Dato' Halim Shafi, who's the new chairman for Telecom Malaysia also, and touch a little bit on our favourite minister, Dr. Maximus Ongkili, if we have time. So Aisha, take it away with Red Hat.
Yeah, this
without the picture.
Yes, I have to apologize for the lack of picture. I interviewed the CEO of Red Hat, Jim Whitehurst, and I have to say that because actually in my job so far, some of the most boring interviews that I've had is actually with
MNCs.
With Westerners.
Oh, Westerners.
I'm sorry, I don't know. I think it's just that we were not on the same wavelength or something. But Jim was actually very. I thought he was very open, and I guess coming from an open source background, being the rebel,
exactly.
He's very open and candid and forthright about what he thinks of, Windows, Microsoft, and all the dominant model of having to pay for software licenses.
Okay.
So he also touched about cloud computing, and I think Gartner came out with their top 2009 predictions, and they're saying that within the next 5 years, most cloud computing providers will run on open source.
Open source, wow. But it's going to be closed system, right? Cloud computing.
And I think that one of the bottlenecks of cloud is actually bandwidth.
Okay.
And I think especially in Malaysia, if you rely on public clouds, then
of course not. No.
So and I think Jim mentioned that because I asked him, with all this hype and stuff, cloud computing is the latest jargon. Do you really think it'll take off? And he said no.
Oh, okay.
And he said that most of the CIOs that he talks to, he said most of the CIOs that he talks to does feel the need for cloud computing. They're frustrated that IT takes too long to deploy. Things takes long to set up. It's not fast enough. It's not flexible enough.
Wow.
And then they end up buying things that they don't need. Just because they thought they need something else. And he says that so there is a need for it, but he says that the number one concern is besides bandwidth is also security.
Okay, of course, absolutely.
Yeah, and also because because your cloud resides in another country, and that falls under a different legislation, so that could be a problem in legal cases. So he says that most of these customers are working towards private clouds, so internal clouds.
Of course.
So I mean, internal clouds are technically it's just that it's still done in house, but then it's just done in house differently, instead of and I think I mean, there are benefits to it. So let's say you have like something that it's mainly suitable for applications or work that isn't sort of critical or data intensive. So if I'm writing a new software and I need to test it, I need a sandbox. So I don't have enough servers. I don't necessarily have to buy a new server and just make a sandbox. With cloud computing, you could have with virtualization you can sort of like simulate like 3 servers on one server. So that's where cloud computing comes in. So that's
okay. Interesting. There was an interesting comment he made that the CEO of a bank in the UK, right, was complaining to him that was it a bank? And that was incredible to me.
It was a bank in London actually, and he said the bank in London recently acquired a company, and then after acquisition, he received a letter from the software company that the company uses, and basically the letter says, congratulations on your M&A, please, you owe us 18 million pounds to repurchase the license.
Wow.
Because previously it was under a different name, so it was like, it's crazy, and it's not like you get an upgrade. Basically you just
changing
names.
the names.
Yeah,
Wow.
so I mean, he's pretty much and that's why he says that customers will see the value of the open source model because you don't pay for any licenses, and it's just for support, training, and integration. And then over the years, as Red Hat progresses, they add more features that is free.
It's free, basically, in essence.
No upgrades. Yeah.
Wow, that was something really striking to me. But okay, let's just move on to our Picta, right? We're helping MDEC promote their MSc Malaysia Picta Awards, and I think the awards have been running since year 2001 or maybe even year 2000. Actually, no. I think they started in 99 even under the late Osman Yo. But we featured Red Tone. We featured 3 of the winners. Red Tone. Previous winners. And then Red Tone won in 2001. And then we have Bob Chua from Pulse, which won I think 2007. And then we had last year's winner, MTD Technologies. Mr. Liu Chun, we have his picture here. Very interesting guy. Met up with him, spoke to him. Obviously, I had to speak to him if I was meeting up with him. But this is a guy, Malaysian, who was working in the US, New York, for 15 years as an analyst first. And then he worked in Japan with Panasonic for 19 years. And he ended up being the youngest general manager for a Panasonic, business unit ever. And the fact that he's non-Japanese makes it even more, striking. And so you think if anyone has got the right skill set to come on and be an entrepreneur, it would be somebody like him. So, I mean, as typical as an entrepreneur, and he's in the RFID business, he was just raving about some potential big wins he's got, and he used the B word also, that he expects to be a B company, in a very short number of years.
Billion, I see.
Yes, and I don't want to jinx him because the last few times I've written about B, potential companies, it has not happened. But we're going to go back and see Liu from MTD, and talk about MDT. Sorry, MTD is the listed company construction, MDT, and talk to him about what they really plan to do and stuff like that. They've got a couple of patents already, and he shared this interesting anecdote about having had they applied for this patent in Japan and China, because those are some of their principal markets, and Malaysia. The same patent has been approved in Japan, it's been approved in China, but our glorious My IPO is still not processed, that patent application. And obviously, understandably, he's quite frustrated with the speed. But very interesting guy. We'll come to him eventually. I think he deserves a full page, write up cover story net value, which we'll come to. And then you had a brief conversation with Red Tone, but Red Tone is very well known in Malaysia, changed business models and stuff like that. Now moving to a services-based, future, revenue stream. But we'll move away from that now because we're going to talk about a few more companies next week. I'm getting the winding up sign ready, which is why I'm speaking a little bit faster. We can always hit the slow-mo and you can hear me a lot more clearer, I think. Do we have that feature already, or you're still writing the codec for that?
No, I'm still writing the code for it.
Okay. No, but I just want to quickly talk about the Telecom Malaysia then Buka-Puasa, which I attended now 3 weeks ago. And their new chairman was there, Datuk Halim Shafi. He was just recently the chairman of the MCMC. And I bet he's glad he got out of there, because I think all the NGOs will now be, or quite a few of the NGOs will be, picketing anytime they see a senior MCMC official, right? But I was asking him that I was not happy that he managed to avoid being interviewed by me for the last 4 years when he was chairman. And he says, sometimes if you're still a civil servant, and said if you come out in the media too much, you can be seen as overshadowing, the minister, and some of them don't like that. So I was struck by that. And he mentioned an example of a deputy director general of an agency who was asked, to tone down and not appear in the media so much. So,
but that must have been during JJ's time, I think.
No, not really. With the deputy minister?
No, as in
with the deputy DG?
The minister?
No, not really. I don't think anyone can overshadow JJ.
All right.
Hey JJ, if you're watching this, how things in Washington DC? Yep. Don't spend a lot of money on renovating your office, okay? It'll get back to us and it won't look good on you. So just a bit of advice for you there, so you don't trip over your own feet. But getting back to more serious stuff, so Halim was saying this was the issue with civil servants. They have to walk that thin line between, sharing information, which is the new philosophy now, and not trying to appear as they're overshadowing the minister. Especially if the minister has got a very thin, skin, or he's got, what do you call it, a thick ego or whatever, right? A big ego. So that kind of stuff. But anyway, have a great and productive week ahead next week. Drive very carefully, please, okay? Have a brilliant Raya week holiday, and we'll see you again the week after. Or next week, at least with me and my mystery guest, or with Aisha on a 19-inch PC screen. Take care.